Phoenix fire crews battling again an electric vehicle fire, and this is 42nd Street and Broadway. It's the Nikola plant. Skyfox over the scene, and you can see them dumping water on the semi. EV car fires have become a major concern for fire departments this year because those batteries burn for days and are very, very difficult to put out.
We hear much of special interest groups. Well, our concern must be for a special interest group that has been too long neglected. It knows no sectional boundaries or ethnic and racial divisions, and it crosses political party lines. It is made up of men and women who raise our food, patrol our streets, man our mines and factories, teach our children, keep our homes, and heal us when we're sick. Professionals, industrialists, shopkeepers, clerks, cabbies, and truck drivers. They are, in short, we the people. This breed called Americans.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Trucking and Politics. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you clicked on my video here. About a month ago, I was traveling up Interstate 55, and I noticed a weird-looking truck, semi-truck, pulling a container, and it was something that I had never saw before. I got up close to it and noticed it was a cab-over design. I was not aware that this truck was even being manufactured. I started asking some friends, doing some research. I'm not really into the electric vehicle fad or whatever you want to call it, but I saw it and I thought it was a very strange looking truck. After I got to asking and researching about it, I found out it was a Nikola truck. And I started doing some research, reading about this truck manufacturer, and was I not prepared for what I found out. This has turned into some drama, like a weird soap opera drama thing that you would see out here. I didn't know this was so involved. I thought it was a very interesting story, so I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to go through a little brief history and what's going on with the company and catch you up till today. It looks as though this company is crashing, burning, and dead on arrival as of today, the last day of January 2024. Starting out, Nikola went public on the stock market in June 4th, 2020. It opened at a sale price of $37.55 per share on its first day. 5 days later, it hit its all-time high of $79.73. Since then, it has been in a downward spiral, and currently it is trading somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 cents. You heard that right. 80 cents per share, and they are at risk of being delisted from the stock market. So, starting out with this story, the drama began about September 10th, 2020, not long after its first debut on the stock market. September 10th, 2020, the original founder and CEO of Nikola, Trevor Milton, was accused of making fraudulent claims over the course of many years. On September 20th, 10 days later, 2020, Milton stepped down as CEO of Nikola. July 2021, a U.S. federal grand jury released an indictment against Milton. It included 3 counts of securities fraud and wire fraud. He told the authorities that he would plead not guilty and was released on $100 million bail. Sentencing was delayed until December 18th, 2023, and he was sentenced to 4 years in prison and received a $1 million fine and may even be forced to forfeit some of his personal properties as well. In the 3 years since Milton has stepped down, Nikola has gone through a series of leadership shakeups. They have appointed its 4th CEO in the 3 years since he has stepped down, Trevor Milton, and he also was accused of sexual harassment, which it always seems like that comes up. This Me Too movement, I think is what they call it. People jumping on the bandwagon, wanting to kick somebody while they're down. Now, whether he'd actually did that or not, I have no idea. But it seems like that's always the case, right? You know, you get somebody convicted of something and they're going down and everybody's screaming, "Me too, me too, he did this to me too." I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little too sarcastic about it. I don't know, but it just seems like that's always the case, right? But anyway, sexual harassment charges were pending as well. But the big thing was they appointed 4 CEOs in the last 3 years since he stepped down. At the end of 2023, on actually November 13th, 2023, Anastasia Pastrick, the chief financial officer of Nikola, informed the company that she would resign from her position to pursue other opportunities. Miss Pastrick will continue to serve as CFO and assist with transition through December 1st, 2023. The company expects to conclude a search for a replacement in short order. In the interim, key financial leadership will report directly to Stephen Gursky, the company's president and chief executive officer. That seemed a little odd to me because he was sentenced shortly after that. Maybe she got hot-footed and had to run. I don't know. I'm not accusing. It just seems really odd at her placement of leaving right there at his sentencing. But anyway, I wanted to add that into the story as well. Then in December 2023, about the time of his sentencing, Nikola's third quarter revenue earnings reports came out, and it was horrible. The third quarter had a negative revenue of 1.7 million, way short of the 13.3 million in revenue Wall Street expected. According to CNBC, Nikola plans to spend 61.8 million to replace batteries in more than 200 trucks. That seems a little odd to me right there, because this company has only been in existence since 2020, and 2023, 3 years later, they're putting almost $62 million worth of batteries in 200 trucks. If that's all these batteries last, that seems a little odd. How is that going to be feasible to run these trucks on the road? So getting into the financials of the company, in this first chart that I'm showing, September 29th, 2021, their debt of Nikola was zero. This company had no debt whatsoever. Its equity was $707 million, cash and equivalents $586 million. This company seemed to be flying high, but at the same time, you can look at the chart and see their cash and equity was actually falling. But that was the last time this company was debt free. They started incurring a lot of debt right after that. Then you switch over to the next chart here, which will be March 30th, 2023. Their debt increased to $314 million. Their equity was $545 million. Cash and equivalents $136 million. Their debt to equity ratio was 57.6%. Huge jump. And then we jump to the last one here on the chart. The farthest I can see here on this chart was September 29, 2023. Their debt started dropping off a little bit from the high there, but it was still $259 million. Their equity $603 million, and their cash and equivalents was $364. What seemed odd to me about this was their cash and equivalents went up, and I thought that was very odd. Did they sell trucks? They were talking about changing batteries. What exactly happened? How did they get this cash? Well, I did a little more researching and found out about that with this next thing I pulled up here. To raise more cash, Nikola doubled its share count over the past year so it could sell more shares through secondary offerings. On December 6th, this was 2023, it announced another offering of 100 million in common shares and 200 million in convertible notes. They're going back to propping themselves up with investors after they just got in trouble for defrauding investors. Okay. Then the last thing that I wanted to show you here was this story from, well, actually, the second to the last thing I wanted to show you. This story from Forbes: let Nikola Stock fall as bankruptcy chances hit 81% per macro axis. That's some type of financial guru organization there. But look at their stock. This is a 2-year stock right here that I'm posting up. Wow. I mean, straight down. I mean, 80 cents a share. The latest share price that I could pull up was somewhere around 80 cents a share. Let me zoom in on this. It was actually closing that day at 74 cents per share. Wow. Actually closed at 74. That's a 2-year stock chart. I'll show you the 4-year stock chart here. That looks even worse. I mean, you can see right after they started, they shot up, and it has just been a free fall straight into the ground ever since. So I really wish them luck. You know, I think they got a bad rap right from the start with their founder and CEO. And they have just went through so many executives trying to prop the company up and get investors and get going. I don't know how good of a truck it is. I don't know. Seems odd, like I said, that they're changing these batteries out after 3 years at $62 million. That's weird to me. If that's all the batteries will last, I don't see how it can be financially feasible for a company to run these trucks. Maybe if they're under warranty, but if you're having to pay for it, that's a lot of expense, and I don't see how it can be profitable at all for you. But I wish them luck. I do. EVs have got a lot of headwind. The technology really doesn't seem to be there right now. And what's weird about this is when I caught onto this story, I was actually not looking at this. It just popped into my head that I remember seeing that truck up in Chicago. What I actually was looking at was these battery factories that's popping up all over the United States. If you don't know about that, they investors and the U.S. government and vehicle manufacturers are throwing tons of money into manufacturing plants across the United States for EV car batteries. And it just came out in a story that I was reading earlier that GM posted a gain, I think, on their fourth quarter earnings, but they said that they were lagging behind because they had so many EVs that they haven't sold. They are just stockpiling their EVs. People don't want them. But these battery plants are popping up everywhere. Huge battery plants. I'm talking $6 billion battery plants, and there's several of them in Kentucky and a couple of them down in Georgia that are popping up. It looks like, it seems as though these companies are going to push through on this electric vehicle thing, whether the public wants it, likes it, or doesn't. They're just going to push it on through. I see a lot of controversy and a collision coming up with that. They're gambling that, you know, the old saying, if you build it, they will come. And maybe the American people are rejecting this, is what it seems like. I don't know. we'll wait and see. I'll see if I can do a little more research on these battery plants and see what's going on with it. I know Ford is building the one up in Kentucky, and I think Hyundai Kia is building the ones down in Georgia. I mean, they're investing like $6 billion per plant down in Kentucky and in Georgia. That's not a little bit of money to be throwing out there. That's some massive money. That plant in Kentucky, I think it was like 8 million square feet or something like that they were building up there. This is not something that they're going to open up today and close up tomorrow. They're planning on pushing this through. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of that. Especially the electric semi-trucks, because this, of course, is trucking and politics, and that fits right along with our criteria of our channel here. What do you think? What do you think about it? What do you think about the Tesla semi-truck? What do you think about this story about the Nikola semi-truck? What do you think about EV battery operated semi-trucks? I know there's a lot of yard trucks out there being built and used. I saw one at a Starbucks warehouse out in Arizona or Nevada, I believe it was. One of those states out there. I saw an electric yard truck. I have seen them at other facilities. Good, bad, I don't know. I know there's electric reefer trailers being built. I think Thermo King has got something going on with that. Tell me what you think. What's your ideas? Put down in the comments what you think. Good, bad, ugly on EVs. And we will catch you next time.